Welcome to the Counselling Tutor Podcast, the must-listen-to podcast for students of counselling and psychotherapy. Here are your hosts, Rory Lees-Oakes and Ken Kelly.
Hi, I'm Rory, and Ken isn't with us today. He's taking a well-earned break. This is a special edition of the Counselling Tutor Podcast that we put across academic breaks, and I'm delighted to have with me Freya Bottomley, who's Interim CEO of the National Counselling Society, and Giles Robard-Day, who's Head of Engagement and Development at the National Counselling Society. And they are here to answer some questions that have been asked in our Facebook page. And if you don't know where our Facebook page is, type in Facebook, go to Facebook, type in Counselling Tutor. You'll find us. We're a closed group, but knock on the door. We're a friendly bunch. And you can join thousands and thousands of student counsellors, qualified practitioners, tutors, supervisors, all talking about the world of counselling and psychotherapy. So those are the people's questions. We put a post on the Facebook page, and people have asked questions, and Freya and Giles are here to answer them. So welcome, Freya, and welcome, Giles.
Hi, Rory.
Thank you, Rory. Thanks for having us.
It's an absolute pleasure, and in fact, Freya, you're interim CEO because Meg is not with us at the moment.
No, she's not. So literally on Friday, she left on maternity leave to have her second baby. So I am stepping in. I've been with Society for about 7 years now, in a number of different roles. So hopefully all will be well. It'll be great.
I'm sure. And, you know, we if Meg's listening to this, we wish her well. Meg's appeared on the podcast, and we wish her well. And of course, the new little life that will appear, hopefully will have appeared, but it's maybe have appeared when this podcast is broadcast. And we welcome Giles. What's your role within the National Counselling Society?
Hi, Rory. Thank you for having me today. I'm the Head of Engagement and Development, and I suppose to put my role in a nutshell, it is to really promote counselling and psychotherapy in general, to make sure the profession is held in high repute, but also to promote the National Counselling Society in particular, to make sure that our members have all the opportunities they should have in the outside world, as it were. Well,
I think that's some great introductions. So with the introductions over, let's go to the questions. So the first question that was asked by our audience on Facebook was, can we have an update about the National Counselling Society's involvement with the Scope Ed project?
Of course, I'm going to answer that one, Rory, because in Meg's absence, I'm sitting in on all the scoped work on behalf of the National Counselling Society. As your listeners will know, we've been involved in Scope since the end of last year, the end of 2020, when the Scope group got expanded from the initial 3 to 7 PSA accredited register holders. What we've been doing is the first part of our work has been sitting on the technical group, and that's been mapping our existing training and competencies onto the framework that is scoped at the moment. And then the next work, we're involved in the SOC committee, which is a Scoped Oversight Committee, which has an overriding view on scoped in general. What we're trying to do, and our key role as a membership-led organisation, is to listen to our members and put forward the questions and queries and concerns that they have. And one of the main ones our members are asking for is an impact assessment, to actually understand what scope will do to the counselling and psychotherapy profession. How is it going to impact it? But in order to do that, we need to almost go back a bit and say, well, how is it going to be implemented? Because until we know the implementation, we don't know the impact. So questions that we're being asked are, how are the columns going to be named? Because originally they had titles, but will it now just be columns A, B, and C? And importantly, how will the pathways work? Because there's talk that it'll be possible to move from one column to the other without excessive further training. But that hasn't been explored yet, and our members obviously need to know how that's going to operate. And finally, our members are asking, how is it going to work in relation to the current PSA accredited register program? So from reading some work, they're saying you could be a an NCS accredited professional registrant and sit at scope level 2 or scope level 3 or scope level 1. So all those questions will need to be ironed out and answered, and then we can do an impact assessment. So that's our current work at the moment.
Well, thank you, Giles. And I think for anybody who's listening who's wondering what is scope ed, would you just outline that, Giles, what scope ed is? I think that would be really useful for the audience who may have not heard the term before.
Yeah, scope has been put forward. It was originally put forward around 2016 by the BACP, the UKCP, and the BPC, with a view to trying to map existing training and competency levels at the moment. So it looked at training courses and what competencies those training courses provided or evidenced, and then try to map that onto 3 levels, level A, B, and C. And that's kind of the basis of it. And the idea behind the original basis was that an employer would be able, like the NHS, would be able to look at it and say, well, that person's got this competency or that competency. The issue within that, as we all know, counselling psychotherapy is a very fluid industry, and a lot of your skills and competencies don't come from training or don't come from your initial training. They come from experience, they come from CPD, they come from peer discussions, and they just come from a wealth of knowledge that people build up over time in practice. So it's really the whole question of pathways, as I said earlier, is how do you evidence those competencies?
Yes, I think that's a brilliant outline, and it is, for those of you listening, it is a quite a hot topic in the world of counselling and psychotherapy, especially among students who are choosing courses, but also, as you say, amongst qualified practitioners who would like to know where they would fit in this structure. So thank you very much for outlining that. Another question that was asked, is it harder to find a placement being an NCS student member rather than being with another ethical body, BACP, for example? Freya?
Another hot topic for students. So we've worked really hard to try and ensure that this isn't the case. We've got a placement provider listing in the members area of our website for all of our student members to find. We would say, though, that if you do come across a placement that kind of specifies that you have to be a member of another organisation or an accredited course from another organisation, that just to get in touch with us, that's something, as Giles mentioned, that he works on. I don't know if you've got anything else that you'd like to add to that, Giles.
Yeah, no, I think predominantly people do find placements and they don't have an issue. But if they do, please do get in contact, because our key aim, and I said earlier in my introduction of my role, is to ensure that counselling therapists, psychotherapists, and students, when they're on the training, are chosen for the course they're on and for their skills and abilities, not because of their choice of membership body. So that's what we argue. Yes,
absolutely. And of course, it's worth reminding everybody that the NCS has a link with the Professional Standards Authority. So there's so like with other ethical bodies, there is an accredited register that people would join. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, we hold an accredited register.
Well, thank you for that. And I'm sure a lot of people will be interested to hear that you'll take up their cause if they feel that for some reason an organisation, a placement organisation, only favours maybe one ethical body over another. One question that comes up time and time again when we ask questions about the National Counselling Society or invite questions about the National Counselling Society is, what is the biggest difference between the NCS and other ethical bodies?
So I think the first thing I would say is, which might sound a bit strange, but I think it's really good that you do have a choice, like a genuine choice. It's so important that you can weigh up the pros and cons of different bodies to work out which one best aligns to you and your work. I spoke with one of our counsellors earlier, and he said that he felt like we were his spiritual home when he found us, which I really, really liked. I didn't actually check. He was happy for me to quote him, but I just thought it was a really lovely thing to say. So the good news is that we hold an accredited register like a lot of the other professional associations, so that you can be assured if you choose one of our organisations, we will have to meet minimum standards with regards to training, supervision, CPD requirements. Something that I would say we really pride ourselves on as an organisation, and something that I often notice our members talking about is how truly member-led we are. So I know Giles mentioned earlier that if there's a big decision, we go out to members for a vote. That is true. So we want to kind of give everybody as much information as we can around a topic, and then put that back to them to check which direction they want us to take it in. I think it just makes sense to us that as a membership organisation, we listen to our members, as that they're our expertise, and we really stand by that. I think our team are really knowledgeable, but our counsellors and our psychotherapists are the ones who are kind of on the ground doing the work, and our policies and procedures are there to support them. So it needs to work for them as well. I'm not sure whether this is a difference or not, but something I know lots of our members and just generally people who call in say is that they like the fact that our membership team ask their name when they call. We don't just ask for a number, we always ask for a name, and often our membership team will remember you as well, and we try and kind of speak to the same people if we can. We've also got lots of material benefits as well. I've mentioned some of those already, but there's lots of things that we can offer. We've got an extensive CPD calendar, which is just for members. We've also got an online CPD website that our members receive a discount for as well. And we've got a directory, and all of our registrants are listed on there for free. We don't charge anything extra for that. And our membership fees, I think, are really reasonable. It's £125 for the year, and there's no additional joining fees. I think we're just a really good option for people. And it's also worth noting that lots of people will choose to join more than one as well. Obviously, that's not always feasible or affordable for everybody, but if you can't make a decision, if you really like aspects of different organisations, then there is the option to be a part of more than one.
Well, thank you, and I think you've outlined very clearly your USP, if you like, your unique proposition, your uniqueness in the market, and also I think one thing that comes through, certainly thinking about Giles' earlier response, is that you're member-led. When there's a big decision, you put it through to your members and let them make the decision. We do. Yeah, it's really important to us that our members have a say. As we're a membership organisation, it just makes sense.
And I think I heard Meg say once that our members are our expertise. Well, there you have it. The question was asked, and I think that is a comprehensive response. Another question that came in is about accreditation. So this is from qualified colleagues, and it said, if I gain professional accreditation with another membership, so we know that other ethical bodies have accredited, or you can take accreditation, then join you as a member, join the NCS as a member, will I have to go through the NCS accreditation process, or will you award me MNCS professional accred, which is the kind of letters after your name, to become an accredited professional registrant of the NCS automatically?
So this will depend on, as Rory said, we hold an accredited register, and this will depend on whether or not the other membership body that you're joining holds one as well, and if they have an equivalent membership grade. So if you do join a register that has an accredited register and an equivalent membership grade, then we can definitely look at that route, so an equivalent route. And we've got a whole list on our website actually that states exactly who we recognise. I think it's the ACC, the BACP, COSCA and UKCP that have equivalent grades. And on our website, we map those so you can see exactly which one you would get. So you wouldn't automatically get MNCS professional accredited. It would just depend on which grade you're getting with the other organisation. And we go down that route because we already know that they've got certain standards, so we have to meet similar standards if we're on an accredited register. So it just avoids needless completion of additional paperwork and verification if it's already taken place through your existing membership. Unfortunately, if your membership is not obtained by another accredited register organisation, or they don't have an equivalent membership route, then we wouldn't be able to offer that. So I would say the best thing to do would be to firstly maybe have a look on our website to see whether you do have an equivalent route, and then to get in touch with our membership services team, and they will be able to help you with all of that.
Yeah, and I can tell you that the membership team are a very friendly and very
They
facilitative
are.
group of people. So I would say if you're unsure, get in contact and I'm
Yeah,
sure
they will help
they'll
you.
explain it to you.
We've also just developing a quiz as well, which will go on the website, which will help people work out which grade to go for. It's just another really easy route to follow to work out
so
the best route for you.
And what we'll do is we'll put links to these in the show notes. So if you go to
fabulous.
Counselling Tutor, counsellingtutor.com, our website, and you find the NCS special edition podcast, you'll find all these links in our show notes, and then you can be able to jump off onto the NCS website and have a look for yourself. Now, scope is, as we discussed earlier, is still a very hot topic. And one of the questions that came in is, will the NCS be backing out of scope to support the members or your members that do not agree with it?
Rory, you're very right in saying it's a hot topic, and it comes up a lot, and you'll see it on Twitter and Facebook and conversation threads. What we're doing to support our members is to be in the SOC and to be involved in Scoped. So what we're doing is, as I said earlier, we're involved in the meetings at the highest level to make sure that things like the impact assessment is looked at, to make sure that we can see how it's going to be implemented, to make sure we can understand how the pathways work. That's how we're supporting our members. But as a membership-led organization, we've said from the absolute beginning that our members will have the vote. So we will do our work with the scope committees to try and ensure that it's all members' questions are answered. And then our members will have a vote on whether they want to adopt Scoped and have it mapped against their current accredited register and our register's levels.
So you're going to, when it becomes clearer and there's more information and the impact assessment is clearer, you'll be putting it to the membership of the NCS, and you'll be member-led whether they want to adopt it or not. Absolutely.
We've always, one of the key founding principles of the NCS is it's a membership-led organization. So when there are large and very impactful decisions like the implementation of Scoped, it will go to our members to make the decision on that.
Well, I think you can't get clearer than that. So thank you very much.
Pleasure.
One question that comes up perennially, and we see this a lot, and it is linked to training as Scoped is there are so many training courses for counsellors. A cursory look across the internet will see that apparently you could be trained to be a psychotherapist in a weekend for £25 with a coupon, or you could do a number of courses online working on your own. The question is, would you ever consider accepting therapists that have done an online course as long as they undertake supervision and can demonstrate ethical work with clients? And what I would say here is that traditionally, the entrance to the profession, certainly since I think about 2005, which is the year after I graduated, was that it was a level 4 qualification, and it was either you had to turn up to a classroom with your peers, and as part of that, the course needed to have 100 hours or more of supervised practice. Now, of course, recent events with the pandemic have meant that people have worked online. So the question is, what is the position of the NCS on people who've taken online courses? How do you work your way through that kind of net of so many different courses being taken online, some of which are legitimate courses that were traditionally run in institutions and academic institutions?
Mm-hmm. So nothing's changed at the moment for us. We still have to have completed a kind of a face-to-face in the room course, at least a level Ofqual level 4 or one of our accredited courses. I think this is definitely something that we are aware we need to look into, and we are looking into it. We're speaking with our training providers to find out kind of their stance on it. I think it's really important that they have a say on it too, because it will affect them as much as anybody else, and they'll be the ones delivering it. So at the moment, I would just say that we're kind of in consultation about it, and we're looking into it. I don't think we would ever accept a purely online course. It would definitely have to be a kind of a blend of the two. But I think, as you said, the recent events have shown that we need to be able to kind of work more flexibly, and people want that flexibility in how they study as well. So I would just say that we're in consultation about it at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the epidemic, the COVID epidemic, has changed the way that education's delivered. And it will be interesting to see how people like Ofqual, who are the kind of authority that kind of oversees qualifications. Certainly in England, there's a different body for Scotland and a different body for Northern Ireland, and there's a different body for Wales. Just in case anybody wants to write in, please don't. There's different kind of bodies that oversee qualifications, but it would seem that the pandemic has altered the way education is delivered, and it's very possible that these overseeing bodies may change the way that counselling can be delivered. It's good to hear the NCS is talking with awarding bodies and trying to make sense of this developing situation. Talking about training and awarding bodies, how do the NCS support students and training organisations? So
I would say in lots of ways, I hope. We've got a members area, and all of our student members have access to that. And within there, we've got a whole host of good practice guidance, lots of kind of material benefits, like they can get their what used to be NUS card, I think it's called a totem card now. There's loads of discounts with book publishers and discounted insurance as well. I know that lots of our registrants, so our qualified practitioners, have signed up to offer discounted supervision and therapy to student members as well. And I know how expensive training can be and how much time and effort goes into that. So hopefully that's one that will be really helpful for students to have access to. We've also got a new student magazine as well. We've had 2 editions of that so far, and the next one's due out in September, I think. And that's not just for our student members either. We felt that was really important to get that out to the student counsellors as a whole. And so hopefully our training providers feel supported with that as well, that they can share that with their students. We've had loads of really useful information that's gone into those. And if anybody else has any other ideas of things they'd like to see, then please feel free to get in touch with us and we can look at including more in there as well. Like with the rest of our team, Rory, you kindly mentioned that our membership services team are really friendly. I think all of us hold that core value of kind of being approachable but professional. And our professional standards team are no different. They're great. They're really supportive and knowledgeable, and they really engage with our training providers and our students as well. So we're just here. I think if student members or not members, you're welcome to get in touch with us and we'll help you wherever we can.
Well, there we have it. Sounds like some really exciting benefits for students who join the NCS. Certainly acknowledging the cost of training, things like discounted insurance, discounted supervision, all of these which add up. They add up in training, don't they? And it's not a cheap endeavour, training to be a counsellor nowadays. Which kind of brings us to the next question. Job opportunities. People are always asking, is there work for counsellors? So the question is, are there job opportunities for accredited members of the NCS?
So the simple answer to that, Rory, is yes. Yes, there are opportunities for accredited members across the profession. There is always going to be some employers, some providers, like some EAPs, who want people to be accredited professional registrants. So they want you to have 3 years practice and have 450 hours of client contact time. But if you're accredited, well, absolutely there's job opportunities. And if any member ever is blocked because of their membership body, they only need to contact us and we will challenge that. But there's opportunities across the industry.
Yeah, so all I'm hearing is that the answer to that question, as you said earlier, was yes. But not only that, if a member is blocked from gaining employment because people don't recognise the NCS, you'll get involved with that and maybe take that up on their account, maybe see what's going on there.
Absolutely. We will always, as I said, again, going back to my very earlier point, my role is to promote counselling and psychotherapy in general, but then to promote the National Counselling Society in particular and the Professional Standards Accredited Register Programme. Because our view is that if you're an accredited member on the Accredited Register Programme from a PSA, you can verify, or we can verify your training and the training and level you've been to be able to provide therapy and counselling to people going forward.
Thank you very much. And I guess that leads nicely into the next question. Does the NCS work across the whole of the United Kingdom?
Absolutely. We work across all 4 nations of the United Kingdom in lots of different ways. And we try, again, with my role of trying to develop counselling and psychotherapy, we sit on an all-party parliamentary group in Westminster on a fit and healthy childhood. And if people want to look it up, I can add a link to this at the end. We contributed to incredible research on the COVID generation, on the effects of COVID. We also sit on an APG, an all-party group in Northern Ireland on mental health. And we're going to be sitting on similar groups in Scotland and in Wales. Another thing we've done, Rory, is we've set up at the end of last year a Northern Ireland committee. And it's the first time we've created a regional committee with a view to try and understand what the regional landscape is like, what issues councils are coming up against, what support they need, what CPD they need. So we've been running that now. And if that continues going in the direction it is, we will look at rolling that out in the other 4 nations and different areas of the United Kingdom. Because our view is that, the issues councils face in the southwest of England, where I live, may be different to what people are experiencing in the northwest or the northeast or wherever it may be. And then we then join whatever campaigns we feel we can lend our weight to. So in Northern Ireland, we're part of a campaign called #123GP, which is trying to make sure that there's there's counsellors in every GP practice in Northern Ireland, and it's not a postcode lottery. And we're also involved with the National Children's Bureau in promoting a mental health charter for young people. So that's sort of some of the work we do across the 4 nations.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that you're looking at each individual region and the challenges they're facing, and trying to address that, as opposed to having a one size fits all view of things.
Absolutely. There's a one size fits all for various parts of the industry, but again, there's other bits which are going to be more regional based. So, again, if you were to look at the southwest region, which is more isolated compared to maybe a council working in London, which is a massive city, there's going to be different issues in employment and what councils face.
Now, one of the things that has certainly come to the fore within the last 12 months and has probably been talked about ever since I was a counsellor was, of course, diversity and inclusion. What are the NCS doing in terms of diversity and inclusion?
So it's something that obviously we're really passionate about, and I think we've always tried to be an inclusive organisation, but we realised that we could always be doing more, and I think we want to continue learning and listening to what our members and profession kind of need and want from us. One of the kind of starting points for us, I think, in 2017, we realised that we weren't doing enough around diversity. An organisation called Place to Be got in touch with us to find out our demographics of our members. And we realised that as an organisation that works across the UK, we definitely weren't representing the population well enough, I'd say. But we realised it wasn't just us, it was actually the kind of the profession as a whole. So we suggested the idea of starting a coalition, which has now happened. So the Coalition for Diversity and Inclusion is working really well, and we exist in order to bring together psychotherapy, counselling and other psychological therapy bodies as well, that are all invested in increasing inclusive practice and bringing about positive change to counselling and psychotherapy profession. So the first area that we're focusing on as a coalition is race and training. And our first piece of work together is underway at the moment. So hopefully we'll have some updates on that one really soon that we can share with everybody. We've also now got a wonderful diversity and inclusivity committee within our society. And I guess our 4 kind of key aims are around ensuring that as an organisation, inclusivity and diversity is embedded throughout all that we do and everyone we engage with. Ensuring that all of our counsellors and psychotherapists feel welcomed and supported as individuals, and supporting our counsellors and psychotherapists to support all of their clients as well without discrimination. And the last one is just to create an environment that all people feel welcomed and supported to find a counsellor or psychotherapist through us. So that's kind of making sure that our website is as clear as it possibly can be, and that all of our counsellors are kind of properly trained and make all of their clients feel comfortable as well. In terms of other work that we do, we always try to keep our membership fees down as much as we possibly can. We've extended who's eligible for reduced fee memberships as well, and all of those details can be found on our website if anybody wanted to find out, or again, just give our membership services team a call. So we're just trying to make it kind of as accessible, as affordable as we possibly can. Accessibility wise, we've been publishing text only versions of all of our new documents, including our magazine, and we're working through kind of older versions as well. Since about 2016, I think it is, we've had audio copies of our Code of Ethics, and large format and braille versions of our application forms as well. We've been putting subtitles on videos that we publish, and if anybody wanted to make a complaint, then we'd make that as accessible as we possibly can. We realise that forms don't work for everybody. We can also offer kind of oral presentations and things if that's what's needed. I think, as you said, Rory, one size doesn't always fit all, and that definitely is the case for this area as well. So we're just really open, I think, to hearing what our members want, as well as if the public have anything that they think we could be doing better. I remember years ago now, somebody got in touch and just said that something didn't work for them on our website, and we literally changed it within the day. I think it was to do with a video or something that just wasn't working for them. So we looked into it like, actually, no, you're right. We didn't even think about it from that perspective. So thank you. And it was changed. And that's something that we really pride ourselves on, I think, is that we can be really reactive to important matters.
Well, I mean, it sounds like the NCS are doing a huge amount of work in inclusivity and diversity. And on that final question, Faye Bottomley and Giles Robard Day, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rory. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak with you again. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, same, Rory. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to answer these very important questions.
Yeah.
And as always, to those listening out there, stay grounded, stay safe, and hey, join the digital counselling revolution.
Thank you for listening to the Counselling Tutor podcast. Find the show notes for this episode on our website at www.counsellingtutor.com.